Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dixie. I'm here with my co-host Katrine. We're from Easy Marketing, and today we're concluding our 7-part series, Social Media Crash Course. And this is one of our most requested topics, hashtags. So hashtags are the card catalogs of the digital age, the way that we group and identify content on a specific topic. Using them effectively can be a big boost to your social media reach and engagement, but learning to research, create, and use hashtags is not as simple as just dropping that pound symbol. Did you know that there are different types of hashtags with different purposes? Or that using hashtags can increase social media engagement by nearly 80%. We'll show you how, so grab a notepad and stick to the end. If you do, you'll be entered to win a consultation for your business. This is the last segment of our social media crash course series. Each is self-contained, but if you find today helpful and you want to go back and revisit previous topics, you can do that on our YouTube channel, Easy Marketing, spelled E-Z-Y. Katrine?
Yes, and we are, I was waiting for the slide. So we are Easy Marketing. We are trying to make life easy for our clients. We are in Northeast Florida, been around for now 21 years. We create websites, maintain websites, do graphic design. Here you have some logos. We also do a lot of social media. We create printed materials, and of course, we do a lot of email marketing for our clients.
Thank you, Katrine. So let's take it from the top. A hashtag is a word or phrase preceded by the pound symbol. It was first used in 2007 by a guy named Chris Messina, who suggested that Twitter users employ it as a way to group related tweets together. And this is the first ever tweet you're seeing, by the way. Since then, the use of hashtags has exploded across all social media channels, and their effectiveness only continues to grow. On social media, a hashtag serves as an indication for both users and algorithms that a piece of content relates to a specific topic or belongs to a category. Hashtags are a way to connect social media content to topics, themes, events, or conversations. The magic of hashtags is that they make content discoverable, which helps you reach more people. And they're not just for Twitter anymore. Hashtags are effective across all social media platforms. In fact, many of you are here today as a result of us posting our events on social media and making good use of hashtags. So let's start with some hashtag basics. Hashtags always start with the pound symbol. You can use any combination of letters, words, or numbers, but they won't work if you use spaces, punctuations, or other symbols. Hashtags are not case sensitive. So here's an example from a client, the Health Up Institute. The first tag we used here is hashtag breast cancer awareness. Since that's a multi-word phrase, we've chosen to capitalize the first letter of each word. But we could have used all lowercase letters. They're the same hashtag and group exactly the same content. All lowercase is the more traditional way to go, but we do recommend using capital letters when it improves readability. So either way is fine, just be consistent in the way that you use it. A hashtag is different than tagging another person or business or account, which is done using that little @ symbol. So for the post you see here, we use the hashtag breast cancer awareness to group it with related posts about that topic. But if we were working with the Breast Cancer Foundation, we also could have used the @ symbol to tag that organization's Facebook page. So hashtags and tagging are two separate things. Katrine, was there something that you wanted to add about the purpose of hashtags?
Yes, I was thinking, I think most people know that for website, when you are searching on the internet, on Google, that you find information, you do a search phrase and you find different websites. But now we're talking about social media, and the hashtag is one of those keywords. But the cool thing with the hashtags is that they can change depending on what you're talking about. And as Dixie said before, it groups different subjects and interests together.
Thanks. And that segues perfectly to our next topic, why use hashtags? So if you're new to using hashtags, you might be thinking, well, we've got along without them this far, why start now? But there is a reason that millions of brands are using them. So let's take a look at a few. First, hashtags can help you increase engagement with your followers. Including hashtags in your post means that you're taking part in the conversation that's happening on social media and making your post and your organization visible within that conversation. This boosts your brand's social media engagement through likes and comments and shares. And secondly, and likely the one you're most interested in, is that using hashtags can help you gain new followers. On LinkedIn and Instagram, users can follow not only people and businesses, but they can follow specific hashtags as well. So using a few well-researched hashtags is a great way to help new users find your brand. So let's look at an example. One of our clients, Waves for Power, is an international company producing green energy from ocean waves. So you might not be following them on Instagram. We won't hold it against you. But if you were interested in renewable energy and you followed hashtag green energy or hashtag clean energy, then you would have seen this post in your feed and then perhaps visited their page and started following this company. Using hashtags is a great way to organically expand your reach without having to constantly invest advertising dollars. Hashtag also helps to build brand awareness. They help people to know what your brand is about, to make it more memorable, and to make it easier to connect with you. One way is through your very own branded hashtag, which I'll talk about in more detail in just a minute. Finally, hashtag can make your organization more relevant by showing support for social issues. So just because you own, say, a successful plumbing empire doesn't mean that every post needs to be about plungers. You can use hashtags to show support for important causes, be it local or national. So hopefully you're seeing the benefits of hashtags, or at least interested in how they can help you gain followers. But there are several different types of hashtags, each with its own purpose. Branded hashtags are custom hashtags associated with a specific brand, business, or organization. It's a word or a phrase that you select that best represents your organization and that you use consistently across your social media channels. So let's think of the cereal giant Cheerios. They use the branded hashtag good goes round on most all of their social media accounts. Our client, a local soccer club, uses the hashtag your soccer family. Both of these are great examples of consumer branded hashtags. In addition, you may want to use hashtags for shorter term uses. So these are often specific to an event or a campaign and are great for user generated content. So if you're hosting an annual fundraising event like a golf tournament or a gala, or maybe it's a corporate retreat or a big seminar, whatever the case, it's a great idea to ask your attendees to post pictures from the event. With an event hashtag, you don't have to be personally following everyone in the room to see that content. If they share it with a special hashtag that you've designated, it's grouped together and available to everyone. Another good use would be for a contest or a short-term campaign. Charmin was one of the first brands to sort of embrace potty humor, and with a tweet from the seat contest that they launched a few years back, in which they asked users to do just that. And it was wildly successful. It turns out people felt like kings and queens sitting on those thrones. For everyday use, you're going to need some related hashtags. So these are words or phrases that are not specific to your organization, like with the branded variety, but are related to your business in some way. So these could be hashtags that have to do with your industry, your location, or the products and services that you offer. or any keywords and phrases that might help someone to connect with you and what you're talking about. So since that branded hashtag is going to be custom to your organization, you really want to put some thought and effort into it. So let's talk for a sec about what makes a good branded hashtag. The best ones tend to be relatively short. You don't want to string too many words together. So if you're a law firm of Barker, Baker, Davis, and Epstein, please don't make your hashtag the Barker, Baker, Epstein, and Davis law firm. It's too long. Go for something shorter like hashtag Chicago Family Law. But you also want to make your hashtag memorable. If you've been to a wedding in the past decade, you've probably seen these funny, catchy hashtags like two peas and a Dodd or let the James begin. Your hashtag doesn't have to be clever, but you do want it to stand out in a good way. A good hashtag is easy to spell. I would be really careful with your O's and zeros. People tend to mix those up. Also, L's and uppercase I's could look alike. And if possible, you want to avoid double consonants like two N's in a row. Anything that's going to be misspelled. Um, Finally, I want to assure you that you want to make sure that your branded hashtag is not easily confused with some kind of non-related content. So we encourage you not to use acronyms, for example, because we can almost guarantee that some other organization in some other industry will eventually use the same acronym, and you may or may not want to be associated with them. We would suggest you do a keyword search on Google and see what you come up with. Teens today have all sorts of new and creative uses for language that you might be unaware of. So with a little diligence up front, you can typically avoid being lumped in with any kind of undesirable content.
And that might be a good time to, Taylor has a question. How do I know if a certain hashtag will be effective, or do I choose, or how do I choose the right one?
So we're going to talk about that in just a second.
Okay.
You want it to be targeted to your audience, and you want it to be something that is easily identifiable. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the name of the company. Cheerios could obviously use hashtag Cheerios, and sometimes they do, but they have that little phrase there because it's memorable and it kind of speaks to who they are as a brand. The most important thing with the branded hashtag is that people instantly relate it to your organization and that it's memorable, because there are going to be times when you want your consumers and your audience to use your hashtag and they have to be able to remember what it is. It's a great question. So in addition to that branded hashtag, you'll want to make good use of those related hashtags that I mentioned, one that has to do with your industry and your location and your services. So let's look at an example. Let's say you're in the wedding industry and that you're considering using hashtag wedding in your post. Seems like a good idea. But hashtag wedding has over 214 million posts on Instagram. That's very popular. Obviously, you'd love to have some of those millions of users who follow hashtag wedding to discover you. But because it's so popular, new posts with that hashtag are being made every second, which makes yours less likely to get noticed. It's sort of a high reward, low probability situation. Like going viral. We want to give ourselves that opportunity, but you can't put all your eggs in one basket. So we suggest using a combination of both these really popular hashtags and more targeted ones. So think about what subsector of the industry you're in. Maybe you're a bakery who specializes in wedding cakes, in which case you might want to use hashtag wedding cakes. It still has 1.5 million posts, not too shabby, but then you're not going to get lost in a sea of wedding planners and photographers and venues who don't offer the unique services that you do. And then if we narrow it a little further, wedding cakes are typically something that's bought local so that you can go taste it, so that you can have delivery. So I would suggest using an even more targeted hashtag like hashtag Seattle wedding cakes, which only has about 3,000 posts. That's a tiny fraction compared to the millions who are following hashtag wedding, but it's the specific targeted audience that your business needs to reach. So then when you post pictures of your beautiful wedding cakes on social media, if you use both a popular hashtag like wedding or wedding cakes and a more targeted one like Seattle wedding cakes, you give your business the opportunity both to be discovered by a large audience and to reach the smaller, more targeted market that specifically that you need to reach.
And one of those examples is we are just south of Jacksonville, and the short for Jacksonville is JAX, like or airport. And I just looked at the Jack's weddings in here, and I can see that those are for weddings in Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's great. And we're going to talk a bit in a minute about research and how to find like what are good hashtags to use. So you're probably thinking, how do I find these related hashtags? Like, do I just make them up? Is there a list somewhere? Where do I get started? To find hashtags that are relevant to your brand, your industry, and your audience, you're going to need to do a little research. And one of the best places to get started is by monitoring your competitors and any social media influencers who cover your industry. We call this a competitive analysis. So you're going to make note of which hashtags they're using most often in their posts. This is going to help you learn how your competitors are engaging with the shared target audience that you both have. Next, you want to explore hashtag recommendations. Social media platforms are getting really good about giving suggestions. On LinkedIn, for example, when you click on a hashtag, you can find more hashtag recommendations. Just click on the ellipsis, those three little dots in the top right, and then choose Discover More Hashtags for those suggestions. On Facebook posts, simply start typing in the first hashtag that's relevant to you, and Facebook's going to recognize it and recommend others. There are also a number of hashtag tools on the web that you can try. Hashtagify.me lets you search hashtags to see how popular they are overall, also recently, and the trends for that week and month. RightTag is another service that lets you input your social media captions and photos, and it uses AI, artificial intelligence, to generate hashtag suggestions for you based on your content. Finally, you want to keep track of the hashtags that you've used and analyze them. So if your recruiters say, you might find that hashtag job search gets better results than hashtag careers, and you can pivot to using that more often, but only if this is something that you're keeping track of. So one of the things we do with each of our new clients is put together a branding board like you see here. This pulls together the logo variations, the fonts, the color schemes, the brand descriptions all in one place. It's sort of a cheat sheet, if you will. And you'll see that the hashtags that we've researched are included on this as well. It's an important piece of the social media process so that we include them for every social media client. We encourage you to do the same. So now that we've talked through all the hashtag basics and how to research them, I want to quickly cover how and where to use them on some of the major social media platforms. So Instagram is definitely where hashtags really shine. You don't want to go nuts, but definitely don't be afraid to use a good number. 30 is the maximum, but about half that I would say is optimal. Just take care not to copy and paste and use the exact same group of hashtags on every post. That's considered spam and eventually will get your post downgraded and seen by fewer people. So you want to rotate them a bit and just pick the ones that are most relevant to the post you're doing that day. If you can tie into a hashtag that's trending, that's great, but don't use it on totally unrelated content. So hashtag Will Smith Smackdown might be trending right now, but please don't use that on a post about your spring festival. Same for things like hashtag follow me or like for a like. Those definitely make you look like a spammer and could get you flagged or even banned on Instagram. So make sure that you keep it relevant. On Instagram, we recommend that you group all the hashtags together after the caption, or you can use them in the first comment. Either is going to work just as well. Don't sprinkle them throughout the caption on Instagram. If you want to find them, you can use the search bar to find hashtags right there in Instagram, which are also clickable. So if you come across something interesting, you can click and see the feed, and you can also follow it. For your Instagram bio, make sure that your branded hashtag is in there, and definitely use the Instagram Insights page to see how many users saw your post specifically as a result of your hashtags. Unlike on Instagram, you want to be conservative in your hashtag use on most other social media channels. So on Twitter, for example, we recommend no more than 2. Here, you can use hashtags anywhere in your tweet. And because they count toward that 280 character limit, we encourage you to do so. So you don't need to group them at the end. You can use them right mid-sentence to highlight keywords. You can also use hashtags in comments, replies, and retweets. There are a lot of different ways to find hashtags on Twitter, and we've listed a few on the screen, so we encourage you to give those a try when you're researching. When it comes to Facebook, for a long while, the conventional wisdom was that hashtags were sort of a waste of time here. But in September 2020, Facebook started to recommend hashtags and began to notify users that hashtags can boost organic reach. So Facebook is definitely taking a stand on hashtags, and we encourage you not only to start using them if you haven't, but even to go back and add them to previous posts so that they can be indexed. Hashtags work on personal profiles, business pages, events, and in comments. We would limit it to say 2 or 3, but you can use them in any part of the post. You can use the search bar or even click on the hashtag to get directed to the feed in Facebook. There, every hashtag has its own unique URL. So in the example here, it would be facebook.com/hashtag/flagfootball. Hashtags are also really helpful in private groups if your organization is using those to help organize your content. LinkedIn is a great platform for hashtags because people here are specifically often using it for networking. So like Insta, you can follow specific hashtags to see them directly in your feed. So that can help you keep up to date with what's going on in your industry, for example. The key here is to keep it professional. On LinkedIn, you want to be seen as the industry expert, a source of valuable, trustworthy information. So this is the last place you want to use any kind of cutesy or spammy hashtags. We say keep it to no more than 3 that you can use anywhere in the post. LinkedIn is going to suggest hashtags as you type, but you can also use the search bar to check out some more trending hashtags. Finally, YouTube, and we could literally spend hours talking about just this. And hashtags are not the only way to get your video seen, but the basics are that you want to use a few hashtags in your video description or in the title, because the first 3 are automatically shown above your title, as you see here at the top. On the bottom of your screen, you can see the search bar where you can find hashtags, and you can also click on the hyperlinks to see the full feed. We would caution you that YouTube rather, is very serious about spammers, and content with more than 15 hashtags is likely to get flagged. So keep it conservative here. We recommend you pick your best 3, and then you'll have great results with these hashtags to make your content more discoverable on YouTube. So as always, a little homework assignment to help you follow through on some of what we covered today. First, we want you to research related hashtags for your industry, your location, if you're a brick and mortar, as well as your products and services. We've flown through a lot of great resources today, so watch your inbox later today and we'll send you this slide deck as well as a replay video in case you need a little refresher. Next, you want to carefully select and start using a branded hashtag. So that's one that's going to best represent your organization and that you use consistently across your social media channels. And finally, you want to begin using hashtags on every social media post. So add them to your content calendar, make yourself an spreadsheet, whatever you need to do to make sure that you're using them consistently and tracking the results. And if you need some expert advice or just a little help getting started, we'll be glad to set up a consultation. We offer everything from one-time setups to get you kickstarted to obviously that's digital marketing. We even offer just the branding board as a standalone service if you need it, which includes our hashtag research. So with that, I'm going to turn the floor back over to Katrine and take some more of your questions.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that all the examples you saw in the slideshows are from our own clients. If you're viewing us on YouTube, please subscribe to us. And I don't see any more questions, and we're kind of running out of time, but we do have exciting things coming up. First of all, this is the special if you need help setting up social media or you might need something else. We are right here, just an email or a phone call away. But we do have a new series coming up, and the next is in 2 weeks, and we're going to take a look at email marketing trends for 2022. Again, it's just a 20 minutes webinar. It is free, and we hope you're going to join us for that, because coming for the rest of the spring and the summer is going to be more details about and information about emails.
And thank you so much for joining us today. If you've stayed to the end, congratulations. You've entered to win a 20-minute consultation for your business. So look out for your email later today, and I'll be drawing the winner. And if you need us, here is our contact information. You've been a great audience, and we'd love to hear from you. So please feel free to email us, call us anytime, and we'll see you back in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.